Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is the Fierce Zilla, and today on the start of the first video of the new year, we're going to be kicking it off with a review of the Battle MechaGodzilla with Proton Scream. Today on the figure review, we're going to be taking a look at the new Battle MechaGodzilla with Proton Scream. Let's go ahead and take a close-up look. So, as you can see here, it's pretty much the same thing as the original standard MechaGodzilla that was released, I want to say, back in 2020, where he has a pretty much lighter shade of gray or silver, whereas this MechaGodzilla has a darker shade of gray or silver and looks more metallic in a way compared to its original counterpart. But the plus side here is that this MechaGodzilla has translucent metal dorsal plates, and I guess that's one plus side of this figure, and he comes with his own effect beam, and with this it's pretty much also the same as compared to with the effect beams or atomic rays, or as this one is called, the Proton Scream, that they're pretty much all shaped in a similar way. And when you insert this effect beam into MechaGodzilla, you'll see that this MechaGodzilla, and like Godzilla, that they all have a hole. So for MechaGodzilla and for its original release, also has a hole at the top of its mouth, and you're going to go ahead, insert it in, and then close it. And there we have it. You have MechaGodzilla with the Proton Scream or Atomic Ray, however way you like to word it. And yep, there's that. And if you want to pose them, you can get creative with it. Ta-da! But one thing to note about this figure, because of the way of how it appears and like the way how it feels, like when you try to move it around or get it to stand in a certain way, just note that, say if I want to have MechaGodzilla, well, this MechaGodzilla stand like this. Okay, I just move my hands. You'll see that it's still, well, at the time it was moving a little bit, so it wasn't completely standing still when I moved my hands away. Or if I want it to move like this, but I want him looking maybe up like this in a way. So just watch carefully. So you get an idea of if you want to try to get MechaGodzilla looking upright. So I'm going to move my hands. 3, 2, 1. So you see like the plastic is like a little bit more flexible and bendy to where you can't really necessarily have it in a certain way. So like that's pretty much of where it's going to move on its own to get in place, so to speak. But apart from the other details of his body, that, okay, with the eyes, they're red, like 2 small red dots. And with the back of his body, from behind the head all the way traveling down to almost to the end of his tail, you'll see the translucent dorsal metal plates on the back of MechaGodzilla here. And of course, like almost most of the Playmates Godzilla vs. figure line of, figures, that the 6-inch line, that they have battle damage. And here, just like its original counterpart, MechaGodzilla, the Battle MechaGodzilla with Proton Scream, has battle damage here on the chest. So you're going to go ahead, remove it, and there we have it. So pretty much the same thing as you would of removing the standard MechaGodzilla's battle damage. But I would just say that appearance-wise, it looks a lot better compared to the regular 6-inch MechaGodzilla from Playmates. But the downside being is that, like I said, if you want it standing in a certain way, just know that it'll be a little bit more flexible and bending in a certain way that may mess up, like I said before, if you want him all the way up, lean back, he's likely not, as he's just gonna go back into the way it's gonna bend in. All right, and here we got a closer up look of the box, and here you can see on the back, on the bottom, you see a list of all the other figures that you can collect along the way of getting together your complete figure line from Godzilla vs. Kong Playmates. And there's quite a variety on there on the back. And here you got a description of Battle MechaGodzilla, and here you see a robotic apex predator with unstoppable powers of laser destruction. MechaGodzilla was created in secret to destroy Godzilla and end the reign of the monsters. And then again, you'll see the battle damage reveal, to where it'll show you where on the figure it can be having a part of its body removed to show battle damage. And here's another closer up look of MechaGodzilla on the back. And moving on to the front, here on the front, on the bottom, it'll say Battle MechaGodzilla with Proton Scream. And of course, on the right hand side, another image of battle damage revealed to show you where the figure of its body piece can come off. And for MechaGodzilla and Godzilla, they both similarly have battle damage on their chests. Okay, and here first up we have the Battle MechaGodzilla with the original release of MechaGodzilla from Playmates. And as you can see, the very major difference between them is the coloration between these two figures. And yes, on video it does look like both of their metal dorsal plates pretty much look red, but here on the left of the Battle MechaGodzilla with Proton Scream, his dorsal metal plates are translucent, as here on the right, this MechaGodzilla just has regular metal dorsal plates on the back. His body. And as you can see, they're both, if you were to stand them, they're relatively the same height, but like I said before in the beginning, that when you try to stand the Battle MechaGodzilla, it might be a little bit more tricky to get him standing in the way of how on the right of this MechaGodzilla, as however way that they made the Battle MechaGodzilla, it's a little bit more I guess best way I could say, a little bit more flimsy. It's a lot more flexible compared to as this MechaGodzilla, as this MechaGodzilla is a little bit more sturdy and has a better way of like standing more upright as compared to the Battle MechaGodzilla. Because if I were to try to get him to stand a little bit more, so I'm going to leave him like that, so he's standing, and then standing, he's probably going to lean in more and maybe fall, but you can see that once you leave it alone, you'll see that after it'll move either in a way as to compared with when I try to stand this MechaGodzilla up all the way. He doesn't move as much, so I hope that kind of makes sense with what I'm trying to say here. But we're going to go ahead and move on to the next figure. Okay, and here we have the Battle MechaGodzilla with the 2021 Skullcrawler. And with these Skullcrawlers, they're appearance-wise of their body is much similar to the way of how we saw them in the 2017 film Kong Skull Island, but in the film of Godzilla vs. Kong, their appearance was strikingly much more different, as it would seem that they've adapted or perhaps evolved over time, and now in that movie Godzilla vs. Kong, we see that they have like a strip of a line from the top of their head traveling all the way down of a red area on their body that's very noticeable. But yes, this is what a charged up Battle MechaGodzilla with the Proton Scream looks like against with a Skullcrawler. Alright, gonna be moving on. Okay, and last but not least, here we got MechaGodzilla with Godzilla. And I want to say that this Godzilla, I can't remember off the top of my head, even though I know I just saw it on the box. I would want to say it's not the one with the radio tower, but it's the one... I don't remember, but I'm sure I'll have it put up in the description or right now in the video at this point, so you know which Godzilla figure from Playmates that this one is. But furthermore, it's the Godzilla with translucent dorsal plates on the back of his body, and as you can see here, they both, as these two figures together, they go pretty well with each other, as they're both another variation of the Godzilla figures from the Godzilla vs. Kong Playmates line, even though there's a lot more of Godzilla than there is of MechaGodzilla, whereas with the 6-inch line that we only have 2 MechaGodzillas and quite a bit more of Godzillas as well as Kongs. Alright, now gonna go ahead and pass this along to FierceZilla Jr. Alright, FierceZilla Jr., what are your final thoughts on the Battle MechaGodzilla with Proton Scream from Playmates. Oh yeah, I remember that you did burn that first MechaGodzilla that I reviewed last year. Huh. I wonder how that MechaGodzilla is doing now.